Welcome, cultivators. So not yesterday, 2 days ago, we did a live, and I was harvesting, but I didn't harvest everything. Hold on, there's like a hue on you guys. Let's get you guys together. Okay. I was harvesting, didn't harvest everything, then realized I didn't harvest everything. I was like, oh, there's more things. So we're gonna finish up that harvest today, and we're also gonna get our seedlings started. Now I was trying to get ready for fall and get our fall plant started. However, we had 90-degree weather a few days ago. So there's no rush. I did plant a lot of lettuce. I am quite worried because that's 90 degrees is too hot for lettuce. And I put a lot of lettuce seedlings, but hopefully it'll get cool soon. We don't have to worry about that. Talk about planting seedlings. Let's just go through what we're going to be doing today. So today we're going to be finishing our harvest. So we have indoor harvest with peppers. It's pouring rain outside. And we're going to be planting some seedlings to plant outside. Some of our plants that we'll be planting, some more seedlings, because we planted seedlings last time. We're planting some more seedlings to get started. All right, well, so it's good to get garden. Let's get started. So let's head out to check on our seedlings. Let's get the light on and see how it's going here. I did see some starting. So we have this one that's not in the case. It's a cucumber plant already up and out. Then that's pretty quickly happening. And then we have inside, we have our lettuce going. We have brine up and out, Monte Carlo up and out, onions, collard greens, butter crunch. So we need to get our plants up and ready to go. Is that oregano? Ooh, look at the oregano starting. Collard greens. So we got to get our plants up and ready to go. So as you know, quite a few of these will be going into our green stock. I do have my soil for our green stock refresh. I'm not refreshing all the soil, but I'm going to mix in some fresh soil into our green stock. So stay tuned. I think Thursday we'll be doing the green stock refresh live. Also, I'm going to have to redo my sunroom, so I'm going to do that first. That's why I'll be such later in the week. You can see the cucumber is definitely growing. This is a larger size of cucumber. And those are some other plants, which I can't remember what they were. I think it was, I can't remember. I have to go watch the video myself. And that's always what happens. It's a tomato, I know for a fact, and green beans. It's a two tomatoes, two tomato normal size, black beans, and cucumber. So black bean, one is in the garden, and the other ones are here. Have our basil that started, sweet Thai basil, brine. Again, we're keeping one inside, and the rest of them are going outside, where it's supposed to be nice and cool, but it's really 80 degrees, 90, 80 degrees, 90s. So that's what's going on in our nursery. That's not our main focus for today. Again, from our holiday, we did have some plants that, took it hard for the weeks that we were out. Of course, there is no, what do you call again? Garden. There's no vacation mode for real plants. So they, did the best they could for the time they had. And now we're going to have to just trim them down and just let them regrow and bring themselves back. But as part of the trimming process, we're going to harvest. So it's not putting too much pressure on the plant. So we're going to harvest the peppers that grew. So of course, as you can see here, we have some peppers that grew. So let's harvest these out. A lot of the plant did dry out. These peppers weren't here when we left. We're just going to be harvesting our peppers. I have a bowl here. Bring the bowl closer. This is actually that other bowl stays here. Just going to put the peppers in there as we harvest them out. Of course, we're going to get all these dead leaves off so the plant can get some time to regenerate now that it has water, had a nice drink. It doesn't have to support all these leaves nor all this harvested plants. And of course, any stems that aren't doing well, I'm just gonna take them directly off from now. Let's see how the light's going there, because I know that, oh, it's not too bad. This plant has a lot of backlighting going on. We got that in there. Just gonna harvest as much as we can. Off of this plant. And of course, some of them have been here very long. Oh, wow. Is this 2 on 1 thing? All right. So we got quite a few peppers here that ripened over the vacation time. So if you have plants, you can still go on vacation, even on the ones that aren't in vacation mode. You know, sometimes they do come back. When you come back, they're not feeling tip-top condition if you're not watering them in the time period. This is a little over 2 weeks, but it doesn't mean it's gonna die. The plant can still recover. Actually, I'm taking this whole branch off. There we go. When the plant is working so hard to keep so much alive, it's harder for it to come back. So sometimes I cut larger pieces of the plant off and let it regenerate fresher, and so it could focus its energy into certain spaces. And once it's focused in its energy, then it doesn't have to work as hard to grow new leaves, because it won't be working on trying to heal the ones that are just hanging on by a thread. So you just get rid of the stuff that's hanging on by a thread, which was that section. This section has like a lot of dry leaves, but still okay. Other than that, I did water it once I came back. So it's still, working on, making a comeback. Let's see. But everything that's dry, just want to snip it off and let the plant grow back. So we got some peppers off of here. I'm going to spritz this with some water. Let me get some water to give it a rinse. Since I came back, I've been doing a lot of misting of the plants, helping them to feel a lot more healthier, removing any buildup or anything that builds up while I was gone and not misting them. Misting is very good for the plants. It helps to get rid of anything that may have settled, any dust that may have settled on the leaves. Even though dust is not, it's not gonna kill your plant if you have too much dust, but it doesn't help it thrive to the best of its ability, because it does block light from getting through, and the photosynthesis, it slows down photosynthesis. So you want to make sure your plants are free of dust or anything that builds up, just household dust in the air. And you don't want any animals to settle and start having themselves a good time. So again, I'm also spraying it. If you have any animals that are starting, anything that wants to lay eggs, a healthy spraying often would get rid of the beginning part. Now, if you have full-blown infestation, spraying is not really going to make a big deal. But when you have just, if something looks like it may start, this is actually before you can see something that may start, keeping the leaves clean and spraying it from anything settling, that's what it does. It helps prevent things from settling. So any mites and any animals that may want to settle won't be able to really settle too well, because the leaves have been cleaned. All right, so we have our peppers here. These are the peppers that we got off of this plant, which is a good amount for a plant that was just hanging out over the time. Now let's go do some more harvesting. We have more peppers. So these are sweet peppers, nice and red. Then we have these peppers, which are a little harder to get to. So we don't have any plants. You can see the water is pouring down out there. Don't really have much plants inside because all of our kitchen plants are outside. This plant I didn't take out. I just repotted it. And the other plants are plants that my son had in his room. So his plants, he brought his plants in here. He is north facing. So as I said about things north facing, you want to get them with better, more light. So he brought it here, which is a south facing room, to get better light. All right, so these plants have grown into the shades. So I'm not quite sure. I guess this is why I didn't do it the other day of how to get them out. Because if I open the shade completely, they're just going to go up into the shade because they grew through and then the fruit grew on the other side. As you can see. This, so on this side is where we have all the peppers growing. So let's see how we're going to tackle this. We got several plants growing into each other. I think we'll just have to reach through. Here. It's not common occurrence. All right, so you guys can't really see the fruit from there. Let's get the angle here. All right, so they're just hanging out back there. So I guess we could just start snipping and hold the thing back and start cutting the peppers. Hope I'm not blocking the camera too much. Oh, it shouldn't be. These are hot peppers. These are sourced from, like they were sourced from a seed. Just planted the seed. And peppers are really good that we liked. Let's see if I can lift it a little bit. If that would make a difference. We have some lift. We also have another plant growing. It's a plant growing up and this one growing down. You see the brain is really coming down outside. See how it's looking. So they just decided to grow their way through. Just I could pull them out. You know, let me try to see if I can pull it out. Let's see if we can get them out. So they just grew through the shades. There we go. Okay, we're getting this. The interesting thing is that the shade supported them and held them up because as soon as you take them out, the plant is so heavy, it's weighing down. The shade is weighing down. I mean, the amount of peppers are being weighed down by the plant. The shades are kind of holding them up. So we have a whole lot of peppers here on this branch that was hanging out through. So let's get all these peppers off now. Hopefully it stays up. Let's start at the furthest one, closest one to me. There's a lot of hot peppers. So I like to put them when I'm making rice. Of course, I don't make that much rice. So I'll probably be making a sauce and storing these. I'll definitely go live when I decide what I'm gonna do. Good thing about these is they don't spoil quickly, take very long. I'm also gonna probably give some of these away. And then make a sauce with the rest of them. And then, so I can season food. So we got some more here. And then let's see if we can get another branch out. This plant is this is probably year 2. Or year 2 or 3. This plant's been here. There we go. And it was recently potted to a larger size. See if you guys can see where we're at. See what else we can pull out. So the plants grow where they know they'll get the most. And this plant just reached through. Said, you know what? And it's interesting, this is that direction. Well, it gets a lot of light from that direction. Here's our plant on the other side of our, so this is a lot of peppers here. That grew through. These are hot peppers, very spicy. This plant grew very large. I did cut it back a lot last year before the season, but and that's the good thing and the okay thing about with peppers. You cut them back, they grow back. So that's why I'm not worried about the one just now that we cut back. This one I cut back a lot, and then I potted it into a much larger pot than it was in. I have that video. I also have a short of that earlier on my channel of us repotting this repotting this plant. Yeah, my favorite thing to do is I boil the rice, and while it's boiling, I put the pepper on top. I don't pop it. A lot more heat comes from when it's popped and open. So that's why sometimes I think I might pickle these instead of putting them in a sauce. I am going to put some in the sauce. There's so many peppers. We have choices. So some of these are going to go in a sauce, and some of these we're going to pickle. And that way I could do what I usually do with my rice, which is put the pepper on top of the rice. Put the pepper on top of the rice, and that way it doesn't get spicy. Let's see, as you can see, we still have a lot of peppers, a few more peppers in there. I'll bring y'all back so I can squeeze in. Yeah, I put the pepper on top of the rice. The flavor comes out, but the spiciness does not. That's my favorite thing to do. Of course, you can always put the peppers, get the spiciness to come in. If you like the spiciness, this is very spicy. I think I'm gonna test them to see what level are they on the Scoville meter. Squeezing over here to find out exactly what level they're at. So pepper plant grew in this direction. I know that it mostly started to grow in this direction because we used to have all of our other trees over here on this side where I'm standing. Again, they're outside, so they don't have to compete. So this one went straight for this window because it would have had to fight the Meyer lemon for this window. I think that's what was next to it. Yep. All righty. So we got all these peppers out. You can see the tree's a lot bigger now that it's not behind the window shade. And then there's another plant that's going up straight. That's the tomato plant that's growing up tall behind the window shade. But this is a lot newer, this plant, younger. And this one, we're gonna rotate it so it can grow in a different direction. It is healthy. I should trim it back because it is very large. And we're bringing in some plants that went out small and came back large. And of course, these are my son's plants that he had. They were in the north facing room. So they're getting some light treatment and recovery in our south facing room. And this is our aloe. Our plant's doing pretty good. And these are all the peppers that we harvested today. So we got more than a handful, several handfuls of peppers. For today's kitchen harvest. And this is a plant that never went outside. This is an indoor only plant. We got all these peppers. And what I do with these is continuous harvest, which means that I harvest and then as it grows, I harvest again, and then it grows and I just keep on harvesting inside year round. And the next thing we have on our list to do today is plant some of our seedlings. Let me put this here. I was going to get the plant spritzed while I was in here, but before that, I have some soil. This is my salad bowl soil. I'm going to have to turn you guys around so I could aim down. I think I saw a button for this. Last time I did this, the whole phone fell out, the case broke. Is it this way? Oh, it was this way, so I was right. turn you guys around this way. This is our salad bowl. What I usually do is I just plant a lot of different plants in here, and then as they get older, I take them out and move them someplace else. I did bring in a little shovel to loosen up the soil. It was just sitting on the patio. So this soil has been here sitting for a little while. So I'm gonna give it a little loosening it up. And then we're gonna drop our seeds and water it in. Now I did bring in some high quality soil that I'm gonna mix with here just on the top. However, as you can see, this is a pretty good potting mix. How you can tell whether potting mix is good or not is how loose it is. So with very little effort, it's pretty loose. Nothing is, I mean, here there's a little spot, but it didn't become a solid. And this has been sitting outside, just not growing, just sitting on in our sunroom as where I keep my starter plants. So I put them in here to start, and as soon as they grow, so I start them together all bunched up, and as soon as they grow, I just take them and separate them out and put them in their growing place. Let's loosen this up. This is some fresh soil that we're gonna put on top. That's fresh and moist. And I did bring in a all right, I don't know what happened to it. Let me go get the seeds and get our drink. See if I see the drink catcher. I don't know, somewhere along the line, it disappeared. And it's clear. So I'm sure it just fell off this table, probably when I moved the table over. These are the seeds that we're going to be putting in. I'll have a couple of them. They're already pre-selected. Let me just run outside and get a new drain catcher so I can water these in really well. And we get these plants started now. And they don't have to wait another day without anything. So I'm going to have these watered in very well, and they don't have to wait another day not being started. So we got something to catch the water. When it's inside, you have to have something to catch the water so it doesn't just pour down on your floors or any place else. So our first set of plants and my water, our first set of fall plants that we're putting in is our red giants. We want our red giant mustard greens. It's perfect for the cool weather. Again, as I said, we did have some issues with it being about 90 degrees, but I'm keeping the AC on. This should be inside. It should be cool soon. Maybe that was our last drop this summer. And of course, like all the other gardeners that don't label, there's a label here that I'm not going to remember. We're like, yeah, I'm going to remember. And then I go and I have to refer to the video. So I'm just spreading these and I'm putting them on top. The reason why I'm putting them on top is because I'm going to just cover it with soil. So instead of digging deep, I'm going to put them on top and then cover it with this soil and water them in. So we have our red giants, and that is for 60-degree temperatures. So of course we're a little while out, but seedlings can start with small, lower temperatures. I was planting the green mustard greens. However, someone got a hold of the seed packet and spilled out all the seeds. I don't know where it is now. The next thing that we're planting that's large is going to be our collard greens. So we're going to do mustard and collard on one side and then cabbage on the next. These plants, I'm going to line them outside in the front yard with our north facing. Our beetles should be done out of season by now. I did have some in the green stock, and it was during the winter season, I mean the summer season, and they definitely got them. So I'm planting them in rows. just so I have an idea of when it does come up. This row is one plant, one plant, one plant. They're all going to go in the same area, kind of next to each other. So if I have to wait till I see them, it's okay because I'm just going to be growing them next to each other. They're all for the same area, the same watering, same everything. So then we're going to do some red cabbage. I know I opened this red cabbage, but I'm very surprised that it closed back. So let's open this back. It's stuck right back. So at least we have the different colors. So the front yard is going to be red and green. We have some similar looking plants. Now I'm cluster planting them. Of course, every seed is not going to turn into a plant. So I do a handful. I like this method because they all grow up together and they can support each other. And then the strongest ones, you can see who the strongest ones are. And then we can separate them out when they become stronger. Now, mustard greens do not like being transplanted too much. So this is not one where, you're potting up very often. This is just for the beginning when they're little skinny, teeny plants. That this method works good for them. If they were bigger, I would put them in the cup, and that way they're not disturbed because you take the whole cup and put the cup in the ground. But at this section and time, this is fine. All right, so we have collard greens. I was going to do mustard, so I just did the cabbage. Let's see if we have another cabbage. Oh, these are carrots. Carrots are for our green stalk, and I'm not doing the kohlrabi up front. So we have, but the red giant and the red cabbage are the big ones, and we can do the collard greens. Just know we're not doing any green cabbage up front. Oops, dropped some seeds. Let me just open them in an envelope. Some of them fell out before they even got out of the envelope. Of course, these plants are all in the same family, the same type of plants, and they're all going to the same area. Same amount of light, same amount of soil. So if they get mixed up, it's not too big of a deal. But we're just going to have them grow together so that they have the opportunity to be successful. All right. So I put them all in to make things easier. Then I'm going to sprinkle the soil on top. You see the soil is a lot more moist. This is never used, so to say. Well, nothing has been planted in this soil thus far. So it's light, it's fluffy, it's great for pots. We just want our plants to grow strong. Now we're gonna spray some water on them. You don't want it to be like pouring. You want it to be a little like rain, because what would happen is if you pour it too heavy, the water would just wash the seeds all the way down to the bottom. And of course, it's not going to be able to grow 5 inches, 6 inches from the bottom. Still want them kind of close to the top. So we are just going to let it get little sprinkles of water, but we are going to make sure it's very wet. And as you notice, the soil was very dry because, again, it was just sitting there. I only use it to start plants. I use this pot to start plants, and then I move them into a larger pot. So our plant started, I cut around them, and I just moved it into a larger pot. So this is just to get it started. You can see them. It's a little heavier amount of water. But we're getting our plant started. There we go. Nothing drained out to the bottom. Yes, it is. So it reached the bottom. We have our moist plant. Now, although this is a light over it, this is not grow light. This is our kitchen table light. So I'm going to put it there. We do have grow lights where the peppers were. So I'm going to let it grow there. Get the grow light from there. It doesn't have natural light over there. It's a bright room, but it's still north facing. but I'm gonna have them grow. They are seedlings, so light is not the most important thing to them at this moment. And when it is, I'm gonna be pulling them out and putting them in their own space quickly. But I didn't want to waste any more time in this season. So let's get these in a well. Whoops. Uh-oh, I spilled the water because I have you guys in one hand and the stuff in the other hand. So I'm going to put it here. Oh, so this area, I have light coming from two directions. So I'm going to put it, this one also has a lot of light, this shelf. So I'm going to put it on this shelf. I'm going to put it lower down, but I'll put it on this shelf. There is lots of light, direct light coming in. It's full spectrum of light. The plants, as you saw, the pepper plants, they grew pretty good in this area. And we're only having them start here. That's it. Maybe I might leave one to stay in the container and just take the container fully outside. Because this is a fall plant, and then after a fall planting, I probably won't be planting anything in that container until spring. We could probably just leave the plant, bring the plant right outside. All right, well, thank you very much for joining. It's been Angeline and the team. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And for more information, follow us at Patreon for behind the scene videos and for tips and tricks. Also, you can visit our webpage at avgardening.com for more information for some written details on keeping your garden and healthy and thriving. I've been Angeline. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.